rolling on another Wednesday to make it so that we end up delivering on Thursday.
Woo!
Or on Friday, since I fucked it up last week.
It's hot out there, fellas.
It is 93. Made it all the way to 93. It's the 26th of May. And we are two dudes making a podcast. Just another two dudes dropping a pod. In a sea of two dudes making a podcast. How will these two dudes ever survive? It's pretty slick. I think that was pretty well done for once.
Well, all right. That's fine. I mean, it was fine.
Well, we cued ourselves before the thing started playing. Anyways. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and this is where we're starting. And
wait. No,
let me
I'm
just
kidding.
preface this with if either my mother or my brother are actually listening to this particular podcast,
Stop.
just stop now, right
Stop
now.
it. Turn it off.
Because I'm going in a direction.
Turn it off.
I'm going to go ahead and go into a very
No
personal
idea
direction.
what he's going to say.
Okay, so I learned about, through unknown sources, I'm not going to disclose how, but I learned about something called...
You want to protect your the people on the inside?
I want to protect the people on the inside a little bit,
Yep.
while also...
From
going,
Duterte?
but also probably going a bit too far. So I learned about something called douching.
Wait. You
but not
didn't
just
know
regular.
about this?
No, I knew about female douching.
I see.
I didn't really know about male douching.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually probably healthier than the female version.
Potentially, but
Because I know the female version is bad. Like, don't do it. That's just bad.
there seems to be some debate.
No, there isn't.
No,
There's
on
no
the,
debate.
Not on the female.
Okay, yeah, that's.
No,
I
there
meant.
seems to
I
be
just mean
some
the female side. I know
Because you're
there's
saying
no
on the
debate.
female side that you're not supposed to do it at all. Okay.
Yes, because it basically is just
on
there
the-
to, like, let's make it smell like a Christmas tree.
On the anal side,
On the anal side.
let's go ahead and go there.
On the anal side.
On the anal side of things,
Sounds like a great
seems like there's a bit of a debate.
album. On the anal side.
There appears to be a bit of a debate that I didn't know anything about. But let's start you off with where I began. And that was knowing nothing other than the existence of, like, probably the sort of like an idea of the process, but no idea what it is you're really supposed to do.
Okay.
And then tools that I happen to have.
Ooh.
So I had the tools prepare. Like, nobody gave me anything. I just, like, I found the tools. They were in a drawer. There's a special drawer where stuff is. So I went into that drawer. And there was a mason jar. And a very large syringe type thing.
Yes, like a turkey baster.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Except with actual numbers on the side of it. And the only instructions that I knew was warm and soapy water. That's all I knew.
And blast away. So, before you start, how different is this from just, say, your average run-of-the-mill off the side of the road enema?
I think it's I think it might be the fact that there is medical personnel involved with an enema, or at least somebody who's putting on the guise of being a medical person.
Which is often worse if we really want to drill down.
Well, because what is it? It's like this water bottle thing. Like, that's the image you have in, like, a tube.
Just
right?
don't ever forget Dr. Phil ain't a doctor.
So,
he was at one point, just not the doctor you kind of think he was.
No, he's like a doctor of art history.
No, that's not true.
I'm kidding.
But wouldn't that be great
would be
if
really
he was? It would almost make me respect him.
So,
fuck you, Dr. Phil. Sorry. Taking a stance.
So I don't have any instructions. And
you do.
It's
in front of you. It's your phone.
No, I didn't. But I didn't bother with that. I didn't bother looking anything up. Instead, I just...
So, like the world's worst dad. Who's got to fix the truck all his damn self.
So so exactly. This is really...
I'm going to make this lawnmower work, goddammit. I'm not looking it up.
Okay, so I go into the bathroom. I've got myself a small mason jar and a very large turkey baster type object. Okay? And I fill up the mason jar with warm and soapy water.
You preheated the oven, right?
And then I run the shower.
That's the preheating the oven.
Yeah. So then I run the shower, and I'm like, okay, so where do I expel? Like, I haven't done anything yet, but like,
I assume in the
where
shower.
do you expel? Sounds bad.
Why?
Drain. Yeah,
Drain good.
Yeah.
Drain good.
Drain good. Not good for other stuff. Good for just clean water things. But presume that the whole point of doing this is for cleanliness.
I'm also presuming you're not expelling large bricks of matter here.
You don't. That's the thing. So here's where
I guess you don't know until you've tried.
immediately things get complicated.
So this is basically just a home enema.
More than that.
Okay.
This story has places to go.
No, enemas, they put coffee up there sometimes.
Well, I
so-
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you should.
I'll just drink it. Okay? Also,
It's supposed to be good for you, according
wow.
to the
It's according to who? The weird
according to crystal people.
the people who make hair tampons from that whole thing
Because
for all
that's the
natural.
way the Native Americans did
Yeah,
it.
this is fucking old South Park episode. is the only thing I
Sometimes
know about that.
we've done better.
Sometimes we came up with better solutions to
Yeah.
problems,
Mhm.
and real tampons is one of them. All right. So first problem is finding the hole. Like, it's not like you have a problem finding your asshole. That's not really a problem. It's getting things into your asshole sometimes, depending upon the shape and or size of them.
One would assume.
Yeah. So the tip of this thing is a bit stubby.
Yes.
So I'm having a bit of a hard time trying to figure out like how much of the stubby tip I'm supposed to stick
trying to turkey baste yourself.
to try and stick into my ass. So
You've made a turkey before.
so it's
That's how
like
much.
so it's like about it's shorter than this part of my finger. All right. And part of it is like it's got it because you're supposed to screw something onto it. There's actually supposed to be like another part, but there's not the other part. That other part's not there. And then there's like this part that is like for being able to grip. So it's like plastic
all
that's
these
got
parts
ridges.
and you didn't decide to look at the instructions.
I didn't because I'm already in there naked and I'm going. I'm just
But I mean, previous to this.
no. I just look. Sometimes I just do things.
I
And
know
this was
that.
one of those
We all
times.
do.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those times that maybe I should have looked at things. But see, it's better that I. It's good
It's-
that I didn't. It's good
because
that I
then you
didn't
didn't
for the
psych
sake.
yourself out. Yeah.
It's good that I didn't for the sake of the story.
Mm.
All right. So
the first time you tripped your pubes.
so the first squirt is
You're
just
like, where do I do this?
the first squirt is just out and
we
all
get a
over.
plastic bag.
It just like runs down your legs.
yeah, like it would.
And you're like,
because-
oh,
yeah,
duh,
of
'cause I
course, like it
missed.
would.
All right.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
But even if you didn't,
Trying to make the seal happen, okay, was
I can't even imagine.
the amount of effort that took.
It's like trying to move your eyebrows in a wave shape. you know
You
those
can't
muscles.
see what you're doing.
Yeah,
You just kind of have to guess.
Yeah, you know those muscles that you're not. People,
Yeah.
other people use,
So
but I haven't done it.
trying to make the seal and get and the insertion, trying to make the seal and do the insertion, ended up taking a certain amount of effort, and you're like, oh, this is kind of painful. But then you finally end up getting it appropriately, and you just shoot some stuff up in there, and you know when it's working because
Sure.
you feel a difference.
Yeah.
And my brain goes, hey, that's kind of nice.
I imagine it would be.
And then you're like, I kind of like that pressure.
Mhm.
So then I was like, well, I should put more in there. So I put more in there. And then I thought,
So you're a water balloon. No,
so then I was like, well, I want more pressure.
let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's crank this up to 11.
Yeah. Even though I've never done this before.
And then you burped out a bubble. No.
So then I just kept filling the mason jar and putting more. I just kept putting more in. So I put 3 mason jars of soapy water up my ass. I just kept going until suddenly things felt very different. And I realized and I suddenly realized, oh,
I've done something wrong.
there is too much.
It's in the small intestines now.
There is too much in there, and it is all coming out right now. So fortunately,
The maker of the desert is angered.
fortunately the toilet is right there, right? And you go, and immediately it's like, okay, it's like the first bit is like swishing and spitting. The first
Yes,
little bit,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
You know what a swish and a spit. You know what a swish and a spit looks like. It's exactly like that. After that, it's everything that's ever been in you ever, and there's no stopping it. And it's also like abdominal cramps because I've put way too much water into me. So there's like,
You're like my dog after he's running out.
And it doesn't-
He just keeps drinking water until he throws up again.
yeah, and the other thing is that like it also like makes you need to shit now.
Yeah, sure. Because you've rustled some jimmies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You've rustled them way deep inside of yourself. And
again,
and now you have no control.
Desert is angered.
You now have no control over what it is that's going to be happening. So you're there and you're just stuck on the toilet now, and you're just watching time tick away, and you're like, how long is this going to go for? It's like, like after like burrito night or like spicy taco night or something.
I know what you're saying.
That type of thing. Except you don't have like the leftover like spices or anything going on. You don't have that particular.
That's good.
You know the thing I'm talking about. Yeah, spicy.
You have
bung.
diarrhea and it keeps coming.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't hurt as bad.
No, it wasn't really all that painful, to be honest. It just was uncontrolled, and it felt feverish. Because the body's reactions seem to have been kind of to be like...
Because this is nothing you're really doing on your own.
Have you ever been really hungover and then had like the beer shits? And then your body kind of got sweaty and then it like stopped? And
sure, I mean, I know what you're saying.
Okay, that's the sort of thing that started happening. And it kind of worried me with a mild bit of anxiety. Just a little bit. But like, what if you put so much in there that you like burst your intestine?
Only mild.
Yeah. Well, no, it was mild because I'm pretty desensitized to feeling anxious.
Only mild.
Only mild. So
as soon as it feels different than you expected.
Meanwhile, the room is saunaing up because the shower's just running.
Shower's going. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what?
Again, you preheated the oven. So, yeah.
I'm just reversing everything that I even did now because it's just endless shitting now. So it's like, well,
So what were we here for?
Exactly. Other than to find out that you've done everything wrong. Because
you gotta learn somehow, I suppose.
So while I'm sitting on the toilet dealing with this, my brain finally goes, maybe I should look this up.
You are sitting in the position where most people look most things up.
Yes. And I know that there's more coming, but there's nothing I can do now. It's out of my hands. And I start looking things up, and
as if it was ever in your hands to begin with.
And what people are talking about, and like what the discussion is about, like why you even do it in the first place, and like people who and do's and don'ts, and people who say not to do it at all, and then all these different like reasonings or something. And there's like a whole discussion on like how there's a bunch of in your colon, there's a bunch of like microbiomes and all that stuff. They're like supposed to keep you I guess like regular, or like it like eats away bad stuff. And they're like, you'll wash all of that. Well, you'll wash all of that out. And I'm like, well, what's the difference between that and just like regularly pushing stuff through anyways? Like I don't know, like couldn't that just wash it out too?
No, because that's like the environment it's supposed to be in.
All right, fair enough.
I assume the idea is that soapy water, soap kills bacteria. You know what I mean? That's the point of soap.
Yeah.
Well, it actually doesn't kill it. It actually lets it
I think I'm not so much the soap part now after reading things.
Yeah.
Maybe just regular water.
Like that's, I mean.
Soap part feels
This is
wrong.
coming from a man who has no experience. Talking to a man who has one experience. I feel like water is probably just straight water is the best way to go. That's, again, as somebody, by and large, things like enemas I think are ridiculous, but that's because I'm talking about, again, your crystal people who sit on yoga mats and put coffee up there. And, it's ridiculous. No reason for that. But I'm sure there's, hey, be clean.
Well, that's so that's the other thing is there's a lot of a debate. There appears to be a debate. There's like this wild discussion that I've never heard anything about.
I mean, it makes
in like
sense
no
that
form
there
of
is a
media.
debate.
In no form of media has there been that sort of discussion going on. Like in anything that's been broad. There's no broad media
of course.
talking about this.
Of course there isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, there's no broad media anymore at all. Like,
well, I just mean like I've never seen it in a movie. Mentioned.
I feel like I have. Like this seems like, maybe it's just something that like
in a sitcom where they're just like, "Ooh, you shouldn't do that."
Well, again,
and somebody goes, "Why?" And like the whole episode is like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they're like, "The gang gets an enema," and it's like, and then they have a deep discussion on it. It's like,
actually,
benefits and
probably
downsides.
Because I listen to so many things like podcasts. This is literal shit that is mentioned in podcasts, depending on what you listen to. Which is what we're doing. We're the subversive media.
Sure.
How did we do it?
By walking into a basement with microphones.
Boom. But yeah, I mean, you're right. That's not something widely talked about, but that's most things.
One of the other things was okay. So
We
then
could say that about it.
the discussion divulged into they really don't have very good LGBT sexual discussion.
Yeah,
No, sexual discussion in schools.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, well, what are you gonna fucking say? What are you gonna fucking say
They
to
don't
a?
have good any discussions.
No, but what are you gonna talk about in middle school? Like, how are you gonna be like here's like how are you gonna medical it up? How are you gonna talk about it in a way where it's like now when because they do the thing with the birds and the bees. It'll be like,
but that's also bad.
Hold on, but they do that not with the birds and the bees. Just when they go, well, when a man loves a woman, they put their penis in the vagina, and then and then things happen.
And that's also bad.
That's about how they discuss.
What I mean is, like, yes, they don't have that representation, and they should. There are certainly ways about it. But also, the things that they do have representation of are still bad.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, it is.
Like,
no, it's not thorough.
Any sex you learned in middle school / high school from the school itself was bad and awful. Pretty much everything you learned except for maybe math and science was garbage.
Imagine like having to get
and even
parents...
that was garbage because I remember every single science class I ever fucking took, all it was every year was, okay, that stuff you learned last year, actually not true. And here's why.
They did that with math.
Every fucking math
as well.
Yeah, no, that's
what. Remember all that algebra you learned at the end of intermediate? Well, it's like, this is middle school algebra, and that stuff was all wrong. It was rudimentary, purposefully to give you a taste, but it's wrong, and we're not going to ever use it that way ever again.
So we're now going to have to take some time to tell you that that's not true, and this is how you do it, and then learn you again. And so literally everything is bad. And I mean, there's just bad representations of most LGBTQ.
No, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not like, I'm sorry, the
knowledge you have of America as a country is bad.
That feels like that's the point, but that's not the point. My point is, how the fuck are you supposed to even get, like, you can't even get parents to sign off on, like, regular shit.
No.
How are you supposed to get them to sign off on, oh, by the way, we're going to talk about...
You don't. You say, fuck you.
Douching.
If you don't like it, homeschool your goddamn kids. And by the way, please don't homeschool your kids. I mean, I don't know what to say.
And then,
about that,
and then also like
the
jury's out on like whether or not to even do it in the first place.
Well, that's its own other thing,
which is just hilarious because it's I guess you're like doing it for somebody else.
You're doing it for. Wait, what do you mean?
You're not really doing it for you.
Specifically about the male enema, the male douche.
You're not really doing it for you.
No, you're not doing it for you. Because if it were, well, also this is untrue, but it's funny, so I'm going to say it. If it were medically advisable for you to do so, they'd probably tell you to do it. This is not true. I already said that this is not true.
Yeah.
Because there are probably many things that are medically advisable for you to do that nobody gives a shit about. You know what I mean? But
what's like the medical advisory for masturbating?
I mean that it's healthy in moderation.
What's moderation? It seems like coupled with pornography, it's bad. Like supposedly.
No.
Like in today's terms, like because of the sheer amount of pornography, I think,
yeah.
or like the level of which pornography exists.
That's why the word moderation exists, and that's why there's no rule for moderation.
But nobody even really knows what moderation is anymore.
No, nobody does.
Well, like
because we're humans and we're bad at that.
Yeah,
we're awful at it. Yeah. Alcohol's not really bad. I mean, alcohol's a poison. A literal poison.
It's kind of like how all the other stuff is in it, like vodka. Drinking vodka seems to burn pretty clean.
No, I mean just alcohol itself will kill you. I mean,
well, if you do enough of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like alcohol is a poison.
Okay,
but in moderation.
Is dicks poison?
I mean, obviously they're bad for you. Just look at men throughout history. No.
All right, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, just, and you're right. Like, I mean, we could talk about the porn masturbation thing because everything in moderation. I don't think porn or masturbation are bad, but it becomes bad when it becomes something that starts like invading your everyday life, right? But that's true for anything.
Okay.
You know, and there's the argument that like it creates unrealistic expectations, but then it's like, well, fuck you. What do you consider an unrealistic expectation? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could have and did say that again about people who are gay and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like that, like, oh, gay porn is bad because it's gonna turn all our kids gay. You know what I mean? Like,
it will.
You know, which
it certainly will.
It will to people who are gay. Yes, like, you know. It will, or people who are on some kind of spectrum, because of course sexuality is a spectrum like any fucking thing else. There's no on or off. There's no, you know, fucking whatever. It's all bullshit. Sexuality itself is so weird to me. The fact that anybody, like, has, the fact that you can say, well, being gay is wrong, right? And obviously I'm using gay as an umbrella term. Like there are many other versions of that. I'm just saying it because it's the demon. You know, the word is the demon. But it's just like, if you've ever seen an attractive, I'm going to say it, human being.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. And like, and I don't mean attractive in the general sense. I mean attractive to you.
Okay.
Was it ever something you had to really think about? Or was it just like, oh, I find that person attractive, or vice versa? You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's very rarely, you know, you did something with your hair.
Oh, I see.
You know, like you just either, by and large,
You don't make a list.
no, well,
You don't grab a legal pad and start going.
There are people.
Why did I feel a tickle?
And here's the thing: you can do that after the fact, but the point is, like, and that's a valid thing potentially. Like, you know, if you were confused about you know, might be some worth digging into, you know, but
Make a list.
Well, not, you know, but I mean to mentally be like, okay, well, why did I have that reaction? Is a good thing, you know, for self-reflection. But the point is, you either found somebody attractive or you didn't. And again, there's no on or off. There's a spectrum, you know. But the point is, like, I have never had a choice in the matter of whether or not I found somebody attractive or not.
You just ended up doing it.
No, I'm not even saying I actively did anything. I'm just saying that I either find somebody attractive or I don't. And I'm not inside being like, well, if I think about it this way.
You're not debating.
No. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
you know, and if I'm debating, it's debating why I feel one way.
It's kind of like a brain snap. Like you
Yeah.
snap in the brain and you go, oh, okay.
Again, the point is, I have no choice in who I find attractive and who I don't find attractive. It just is. And maybe I'm weird and no one else is that way. But
I think it's pretty clear that you're on point.
The point is, like, I can't imagine anybody ever in life being like, being gay is a choice. And you've got to choose to be better. And it's like, yeah, that's fucking easy to say from somebody who doesn't have to worry about making the choice. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you have the fucking, you know, when you have the alcoholic who's like truly addicted to alcohol and can't stop himself, it's real easy for somebody who isn't just to be like, you know, you should stop drinking. And it's like, yeah, I fucking know. Like, you know, like, you think somebody addicted to heroin doesn't know they shouldn't be doing heroin?
They only know that
know.
after they're not doing heroin.
Well, of course, but the point is, like, you don't think they know it's probably not good for me. You know, like it drives me fucking up a wall, and I've never, and you know, and then you also usually find out the people who yell about the most are you know,
no, that's like
and that's self-hate. You know, that's just that self-hatred, right? Just fucking eating away at you, just being like, oh, Daddy always told me not to do that, so I'm gonna yell at other people for doing that, and then I'm still gonna do it, but still yell at other people for doing it, so I feel better. You're all fucked up.
My goodness.
Sorry. Anyway.
No, it's good.
So, what's up? How are things?
Well, aside from the fact that fucked me up for the entire day.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the day.
The
rest of it.
Something I shouldn't ask you.
Fine.
Was that today?
That was not today.
Okay, good. Okay.
That was at this point. I think it was like a week ago.
Okay.
I think it was. I think it may have been last Monday.
Okay. You mean the previous Monday 3 days ago?
Oh, no, it was not. No, it must have been Friday. I can't remember what day it was.
So bad you don't remember the day.
Probably for the better.
Really fucked you up.
No, it was a mistake. The rest of the day, I mean,
Really ruined you.
And
Had a bad day. You had a bad day.
there's so many.
Somebody what?
I think the soap was the real.
Yeah, I think we've already decided that it was the soap.
The other thing that's like traumatic about it is like the sound.
You mean what keeps reverberating inside your skull when you sleep at night?
I mean, like as the day goes on, when it's like how you like when you throw up and you eventually get a dry heaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, except it's like bubbly sounds.
There it was. there it was. The first time I ever threw up drunk. Like I think I did. I'm not actually talking about the time I threw up on my friend Rory's leg. I think I already said that.
You've told that story. It was a great one.
But I just mean one of the first times I ever threw up drunk, like where I was still doing stuff, like because that, like I threw up. We like cleaned up our clothes and then we went to bed. You know what I mean? Like that was it. It's just like that was that. Like, well, that's the end of the night.
A towel.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But I mean, like, I would have been out partying at a bonfire because we did that a lot. Out in the woods of nowhere. And I very specifically remember getting very drunk and being like, "Oh, I got to throw up." And then ran away from the fire and didn't run, stumbled out into the woods.
like a baby with its head in front of its legs.
Yeah, no. Found a spot where it didn't look like everybody was paying attention to me. I just threw up and realized, wow, I'm so drunk, this doesn't feel bad. Get up. Walk back to the fire and keep drinking. Like, just because now you feel good again. And I just...
It's like making room for more food.
Exactly. You're just like, all right.
At the Golden Corral.
And then you're like, man, that felt great. Like, keep drinking. That's when you know you have a problem. That's when you know you have a real problem. I don't think I've told it here. Did I ever tell you where I did the bowl wrong, the pipe?
You've told me that story.
But have I told it here?
I don't know if you've told it here.
I don't believe so.
Because all right, yeah, go for it.
Because I wanna pull it out. Because this shows how stupid kids are, and how understandably stupid kids are, and it's kind of brings back into that whole like, well, they don't represent this in schools because they don't represent shit in schools.
They also don't represent this in movies. I don't know of a movie where this happened.
I mean, there are similar-ish things to this, but
it's like smoking a cigarette backwards.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there are things, yeah, but very specifically, I didn't smoke a lot of weed. I still don't. I do occasionally. I'll say it. It's fine.
For shame.
Occasionally.
The devil's lettuce.
I'll partake in some weed. The problem is I don't like smoking weed because I just want to go to bed.
And you're going to be awake now? If you smoke weed, you're going to be awake now?
No, when I smoke weed, I want to go to bed. And usually when I smoke weed, I'm out somewhere.
Oh, I see.
And it just means like, well, if I smoke this, I'm going to want to go home and go to bed. And I'm going to want to leave this place.
It's like if I drink wine.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just like, ugh.
Why? Why did I do that? All I want to do is sleep now.
Yeah, all I want to do is go to bed.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was at a party, at a bonfire in the middle of nowhere. Already having a great time. Drunk, having a good time. Doing that thing. I have this guy, Zach. Zach was in the band that I was in at the time. I didn't know him very well because I'd only joined this band recently because I met somebody who I thought was somebody else at Cold Stone Creamery. So, to preface this, let's just keep going back. One of my first jobs was Quiznos. One of the best jobs I've ever had. Got to eat Quiznos all fucking day. Still want it. That's how you know it's good. I could tell a lot of Quiznos stories, but
Toasted is the best there.
I'll just say, anyway, I'll just say that in the plaza that I worked at, there was a Quiznos, a Cold Stone, and a Starbucks, which man, if you 16, whew, perfect. Especially because, well, we would just trade for food. You know, we would trade food for Starbucks and Cold Stone. You know, just bring it. And this is all under the table. This is not sanctioned by the managers. You know, this is like all the managers are gone. I'm bringing over some subs to Cold Stone and bringing back a cup full of cookie dough and hot chocolate.
That sounds
like,
awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like such a great time as a teenager.
Yeah, it's just like I'd just walk over and I'd look at my buddy and I'd be like, just get me a cup of cookie dough and hot fudge and sprinkles.
And I'll trade you this foot long.
Yeah. Okay. So the best part is that it got to the point where we did it so much that we were no longer trading at the time. We were basically giving credit.
What, IOUs?
Yeah, well, and we were, obviously that's a joke. It's just that I know if you come over, I give you something for free. If you come over, I give you, you know, like, It was just like, yeah, it's fucking chaos. Chaos. It's a wonder why it closed down. I'll actually preface this again. I'll step back another second because when I first started at Quiznos, the shift manager at the time, I think her name was Crystal. Me and one of my best friends, George, worked there. And what Crystal would do is if you got a sub while you were, you know, on shift, you know, you would be allowed to eat. You know, you probably wouldn't take a half-hour lunch because we're working part-time because we're 16. But you'd probably take, 15 minutes, get a small sub, eat, if you're, because you're working after school, so you're probably working like, 4 to 9 or whatever however the fuck we're open. And she wouldn't ring us up during the day because that could interrupt the flow of traffic. So she would just, if you got a sub, she'd write it down at the end of the night after we closed. She's like, okay, come, what did you buy? Blah, 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 ring you up. And we got half off of subs, half off. So it wasn't free, but we got half off and free drinks. So whatever. Still kind of shifty, but fine. But she would ring us up at the end of the night. Well, she got fired.
Of course she did.
She didn't get fired for that.
What'd she get fired for?
I don't remember.
You can't just say that she got fired.
It doesn't matter.
Did she not show up on time?
I
What?
don't care. I don't actually. It wasn't Crystal. This was somebody else.
There should be a story.
Crystal was somebody else. But that doesn't matter.
All right,
the point is, she got fucking fired or left. It's Quiznos. Maybe she left. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
So you never even found out?
No, I didn't.
Well, there's a loose end in this story.
There isn't.
Oh, okay.
The loose end is that her MO was, we're not going to buy the subs as we eat them. We're going to ring them up at the end of the night. So next shift manager comes along, doesn't know that. So we, during the day, get our subs like we would. At the end of the night, shift manager doesn't say, hey, what'd you guys get? It was just like, hey, clean up. Come on, let's get out of here. We do that. And then 2 weeks goes by. I just mean of that happening, of not paying for my sub. And one day, I look at George. I go, George, I haven't paid for a sub in 2 weeks. And he goes, oh my God, me either. Like, you could just see the relief that had been building in him, the tension of every day not paying for his sub, a 16-year-old with their first job, you know what I mean? just like, oh, I never paid for a fucking sub again, motherfucker. As soon as we were just like, yay, then, because then we eventually became the shift managers. You know what I mean? After that,
and you can just get away with it now.
Because fuck it. I shouldn't say this, but I literally actively knew if they were going to be watching the cameras, if one of my employees bought a sub, I'd say, give me $1. And I'd press the button to open up the cash register, take the $1, give another $1 back out, so it looked like we were exchanging money. Like, what I mean? Like,
that's shifty, dude.
Bad. Yeah.
You're fucked up in that.
Fuck off.
No, I was just no, fuck them. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I just meant like,
we're working for you. Give me goddamn free food.
I'm just saying, like, clearly you're having to bend the rules.
I wanted to make sure that nobody got in trouble for it.
I wasn't calling you out. I'm so sorry to imply that for even a second.
Anyway, so I say that to say this, and that is one day I went over to Cold Stone, and I saw somebody that I thought I knew. What's interesting is that the person who I thought it was was a bass player. That's interesting on its own. And I look and I go, oh, I know that guy. Hey, how's it going? He looks at me in a way that makes it seem he don't know me. You know? And he goes, hey. You know, like the hey thing. And I go, hey, this is weird. So then I start talking to him. It was like, oh, I'm sorry. Thought you were another guy. No, I'm not that guy. Cool, what's your name? That was Ryan Nickerson, the singer of Mob Day, the band that I was in for so long. And that's how we actually struck up our first conversation. And then literally that week, just because we had started talking, he invited me over to a fire at his friend's house, you know, after work. And then we went. And while I was there, first of all, he offered me somebody else's beer. And I don't mean it's awkward that he did that. I mean, we got there and he was like, hey, you want some beers? And we took them. And then the person whose beer it was came back and said, what the fuck? You guys are drinking my beer? And we were just like, he said we could. She's like, I guess it's fucking fine. Yeah. like clearly she wasn't super happy about it, but also was just like, I could imagine him.
Was it domestic?
Oh, of course it was.
Was it like Natty Light?
Yeah,
a Michelob Ultra?
Yeah, some bullshit.
It's like the sweetest weird beer.
This was a very skinny, tall woman.
You know, like I just meant Michelob.
Yeah.
It's like a weird fruity beer.
Yeah, this was a skinny, tall woman who bought this beer.
Okay, but it doesn't sell itself like it's a weird fruity beer. It makes it look like maybe it's like the champagne of beers or something like that, which I guess makes sense. And then Stella Artois kind of got the same.
Which one is
style.
the champagne of beers?
I think Stella Artois might be because
there's one that it might be Mick Ultra.
Brands itself.
Yeah, brands itself. There's that actual branding, the champagne of beers.
Well,
doesn't matter.
I was at a bar. I was at an arcade bar. Within the last 2 years of my life or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
In Dover.
Yeah, that's right. Tokens.
Yeah, Tokens.
Tokens
Tap Room.
Hey,
you should go see.
Hey, Tokens.
Let
me tell you something. You got an arcade bar with old arcade games.
Have some old beer.
No. Who fucking cares about the beer? That's not the point.
Me.
The point is...
Me, I do.
No, you need to know this. You have to keep the fucking high scores on the machines so that there's a reason to play the fucking games against people.
That's insane.
Why would I show up more than 2 times to play Mario when I find out that it doesn't matter how good I got at it? Because it took some effort. And you took it away from me.
There's a whole Seinfeld episode about this.
Yeah, about having a high score?
Yeah.
There's no reason to play arcade games without a high score. There's no reason to do it.
Yeah. I mean, no, there's no reason to play again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes,
the
first time for fun.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, so I'm there and I see their beer selection and it's like all kinds of crafty shit. And I'm like sure.
Yeah.
Craft beer,
That's for
fine.
me.
Like one on occasion. I'm fine with it. But the IPAs, look, in my brain, IPA, dark beer. Dark, bitter, like a black coffee.
You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're talking
I know. I know that I don't know what I'm talking about. That's the thing that's fucked up.
I know.
Is that
It's
it
the fun
was
part.
that. It was dark, high alcohol content, bitter
Yes.
beer.
Mm.
And then it was pomegranate or pumpkin or all kinds of nonsense. And they're all fruity and they all are thick and they're all high sugar content and I don't want anything to do with them. So I go, hey,
just
what's
have to know what
off
to
the
get.
menu? What is the beer that you have that's not listed on here? I was like, what do you have aside from what's on this menu? And they go, well, we got Budweiser and we got Michelob Ultra. And I said, I'll take the Michelob because I don't want a Bud because I know what the Budweiser tastes like.
Yeah. And then you have the Michelob and you're like,
And then I have the Michelob and I go, I would have preferred the Bud.
Yeah.
Because this tastes like a candy straw or some shit. What the fuck is this thing? It makes itself look like it's going to be kind of innocuous, like a simple light beer. Sorry, it wasn't Michelob Ultra. It was Michelob Light. Whatever. Or light Michelob.
Allagash White, I suppose.
No, they didn't have that.
Weird.
No.
Usually they do.
They had all the...
I don't mean them. I just mean around here,
because it's local. But they had all kinds of other shit, and I didn't fucking feel it that time. I didn't want to spend $8 on a beer.
No, of course.
I'll spend $8 on a shot.
That I wouldn't do.
Well, not a shot, but fucking this.
No, yeah.
Give me your house. Give me your house vodka.
Yes.
$8.
That's $8. Yeah.
Fine.
I was gonna say I would not spend $8 on
whatever.
a fucking shot. Jesus
Put some
Christ.
ice in it. Put a lime in it. Make me happy. Fine. Don't fucking care. Not $8 for thick syrup. That's.
I mean, I'll pay it, but
and then
I'm
also
make it,
go
so I
off
don't care.
to calm my nerves to the point that I can get to the end of Mario arcade version, which is different from the
very different
from
the NES
the NES version.
On
Let me
purpose.
tell. There's a level in there where there's this massive gap. The game has trained you up to this point to jump all gaps that you can't see the other side of blindly to make it to the next point. And you're not supposed to do that. The only way you learn what it is you're supposed to do is through trial and error. Of
Which means
jumping
money.
Exactly, but jumping wildly until you find out, you have to hit a block that you can't see to another block you can't see to then getting up to like a spring maybe or some shit. I can't quite remember what it is.
Yeah.
But then
They
there's
did that
another
shit in the Lost Levels Mario 2 a lot.
and then I think it's like World 5 something where it's like gray. Like the world is gray. There is a blind jump you have to make where you have to get your foot to the last pixel of the platform you're running from to be able to make it to the next part. And fucking if I figured all that shit out, come on. Make it so it's competitive. So it matters that I actually killed a bunch of Goombas. Yeah. I took the time to kill all of the Goombas and get all of the coins and all that stuff. I got efficient. I got efficient at all of the first levels and like the different secrets, but also to speed through it and all that, to make it so that the timing was good. It was tight. Playing Mario with a joystick, it takes a bit of effort because he's got delayed movement, but he's got momentum. So you're not directly controlling him at any time. You're
a man who didn't like Dark Souls.
Changing. You're changing the flow of water.
Only what people in Dark Souls talk about.
You're changing the flow of water.
Well, I just mean like this in this way. It's like, well, you do that.
All right. Yeah. Well, like, okay. I know I didn't like Dark Souls.
I
want to like Dark Souls.
Don't have to.
I wanted to. I think this needs to be addressed.
You should get Bloodborne.
I spent 4 hours on the first stupid castle area trying to learn how to play the game.
Because you dumb. Good son.
That's what they say. No doubt that's what they say. Fuck's sake.
No, man, you just got to figure it out.
Look.
This is what it is. I mean, you got to have the time. That's it.
Domestic beer is shit.
I didn't finish my story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I only wanted to mention that I'm now at a bonfire with this kid who I thought was somebody else, who gave me beer that was somebody else's. This will be a recurring theme. Just him deciding, yeah, have it. But because for a second, while I was at that bonfire with my friend George, because we were both invited, I looked at him and was like, oh, you're a musician, right? You play bass. And then in my head, I was like, no, that's the guy I thought he was. That's not him. That's the other guy I thought he was. And then he was like, no, I don't play bass. I do play guitar, though. Oh, that's cool. I play bass. He's like, I don't have a bass player. All right, that's cool. So then we formed a band. I went into his band, who also had another guitar player, which was this guy at the bonfire that I said so long ago. This guy, Zach, was in the band because he could sweep pick. Now, you don't understand. This is like 2006. Okay? This is like 2005, 2006. And he could sweep pick. Now, he could only do one shape. He could do it anywhere on the neck, but he could only do one form of sweep pick. So it was always the same intervals, no matter what. You know what I mean? So, he just practiced the one, but he could do it. And he was an insane person. And I just mean that I am hard pressed to find a more awkward human being. There are more. They do exist. But it was just like, this guy, what he did was practice this one sweep pick, and that was it. So, I was out at a bonfire. My whole band was there, doing stuff. Zach is talking to me, which is weird on its own that he's talking. I don't know what he was talking about, because it was the most boring shit I'd ever heard in my life. I could not give a shit at whatever he was saying to me. Doesn't matter, because I actively started having a conversation over here, and he was still talking to me. My conversation over here, because I got past a pipe, a bong, but not a bong, a fucking,
A pipe, a regular pipe.
A pipe with a carb on it. If you don't know what a carb is the hole on the side of the bowl that you put your finger over so you can pull through it. Now, I had used these previously. All I knew is that you cover the hole so that you create a seal. You can inhale through it. That was as far as I knew. But I knew enough to know that can't be the only reason it's there, because then why would it be there? Why wouldn't it just not be there so I didn't have to cover the hole? Right? So I'm talking to my friend Stacy, and she hands it to me. And, about to do it, I go, Stacy. Okay. You know we've smoked before. I know how to smoke weed. The carb, I even knew it was called the carb. I knew that. I knew the word.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's called the carb. Or
I
at least
was
it was at
the
the time.
hole in the side of the
It might have
pipe.
changed by then, but by now. But
It was just the hole.
But I was just like, okay, I know you cover the carb. She goes, and I said, but why? Why not it just not be there? Like, why just it not be there? I'm drunk, okay? I'm trying to recreate this as best as possible. Don't forget that Zach is still talking to me about macaroni and cheese or some bullshit. Doesn't matter. I'm still talking to Stacy. And she says, now don't forget, she's drunk and high as well. She says, oh, yeah, no. When you light it, you put your finger over the carb so you can pull, like you pull in and you have the smoke. Then, when it's already all lit and you're pulling, you take your finger off and then you pull through the carb. So it clears it out. And I say, oh, okay. That makes sense. And now remember, I'm already drunk. I'm already high. This is not my first puff of the night. Zach is still talking to me. So the way I heard it was, you pull through it, you light it, you take your finger off, and then you pull through the carb. The way I interpreted that was, take your finger off, and inhale through the carb. As in, put your lips up to the side of the fucking bowl and suck through that fucking hole. As I could see Stacy going like, like, no! What I felt was fiery hot weed into my lungs. Because all it did was, the cherry probably came with it for all I fucking know. And then I immediately knew life is wrong and stood up from the side of the fire, ran to the other side, and started like coughing and puking and just like fucking like I'm like burping smoke and fucking just like while that happened. Zach, who was still talking to me, got up and followed me around the fire. And was still talking to me while I was coughing and puking on the other side of the fire. I was just like, bah, bah, and he's still just like, and when we just, we do the blah, blah. Like, again, who the fuck knows what he was saying? The point is he was still talking to me. And all I could remember in my head was, doesn't he know I'm dying right now? Does he not understand? And I finally expelled hot weed from my lungs and stood up, and just looked at him and said, "Yeah, it's cool, man." And they just walked back around the fire, back, and then joined the party again. And I've lived my life ever since. I will never forget that. It was painful, and I still, to this day, can't fucking believe that motherfucker was talking to me.
Did he finish the story?
Who cares? I wasn't paying attention.
So
It doesn't matter. He
paying
followed me back and was probably still talking. I was talking to other people.
So he's just a very unaware person?
Very unaware person. I mean, I'm like nowadays probably like, okay, some form of autism probably. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like it was, you know what I mean? Like that's I didn't realize how bad it was until that happened, and then it was just like the inability to notice this, even if you've already been drinking. You know what I mean? Like is pretty wide, right? You know?
Yeah.
That same night,
You think you would have slipped over to, hey, are you okay? Like
Yeah.
even just the tiniest
even just
acknowledgement of the fact that you're coughing and puking.
yeah, seems
the
weird.
tiniest amount.
Seems weird.
Yeah, I agree.
That same night, I do remember I was hanging out with my friend Stacy again. She wanted to go into the house and use the bathroom. And the house, so we were at this kid's house who had a creepy father. And she knew creepy dad in the house. Come inside while I go use the bathroom. Say, okay.
To protect against creepy dad.
Some creepy dad who probably did nothing, but it was just like, I don't know, my son invites weird people over and they drink and smoke in the backyard. What am I going to do? I'm just going to fucking hang out. You know what I mean? And to be honest, not the creepy dad that hung out with us. He didn't. He was like, fuck, I don't care about you kids. You know? Like, yeah, so less creepy than we probably could have been. But I do remember her being in the bathroom, and then they had one of those tiny little yappy dogs. It started barking. And all I hear from Stacy is, Alex, turn it off! It's like, Stacy's a dog! I can't do that! Oh! And then that same night, we ended up in the front yard because Kyle, the kid who was hosting this, was also known for being the random, very aggressive drunk. You know those people who all of a sudden at a certain part of a party, they're now going to lose their shit and start yelling at everybody. So
just to say,
yeah,
I have been that person probably 3 times.
I've never been that person in my life, and I'm happy about it.
Well, these were early drinking episodes.
That's a bad person to be.
Oh, I
That's
agree.
all I'm going to say. That's a bad person to be.
Oh, it was only 3 times.
It's worse when you're the hosting the party.
Never hosted
which
the party.
Kyle was.
3 separate times.
That's sad, and I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that I was that person.
Because
to the people who I affected.
Because it just means that, like, party's over, and also it's just like, well, it's like I liked Kyle when he wasn't this way. I don't like Kyle now, so I guess we'll just leave.
It's the drunk that you avoid and stop inviting to parties.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Because now he's throwing beer and screaming about his life as being worthless and blah. You know, it's like, I don't want to deal with that now. Let's deal with that sober
That
in the
person
daylight.
needs therapy.
Yes. But I remember we ended up in the front away, probably because I saw signs.
That was
like,
coming?
That, like, Kyle's coming out. Yeah. Like, so we moved to the front. And I'll never forget this because it makes me rethink every single UFO story or every ghost story I've ever heard in my life. Because we were laying in the grass in the front lawn, looking up at the stars like shitty teenagers, you know, who've been drinking and smoking. Now, obviously, we've been drinking and smoking. I'm not going to say we were in perfect minds. I'm just saying that I'm a pretty calm person no matter what's happening.
Typically.
Unless I'm excited, but that's a whole different thing. You know, that's a different kind of thing. The point is, we were laying on the ground, and all of a sudden Stacy goes, holy fuck, what is that beam in the sky? And I look up, and there's this literal white streak as if a pillar of God was like crossing the night sky. Like this just bright white fucking, like as if somebody had cut the night sky and there was nothing but light above it shining down. It was insane. And then I realized it's just the telephone wire. Like, it was white because there was a light beaming up from the grass, and it looked white. But, like, from where we were, it was just like, oh, my God. Like, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And then I realized it's just the wire between telephone poles. Because I looked at it a little bit longer. And it made me realize, yeah, it's real easy to see whatever you want to see. And because I also didn't notice it until somebody pointed it out. You know, like, and they're like, oh my God. I'm just saying, I want aliens to be real so bad, I can't believe it. And the government has done a whole bunch of releasing files lately, too, which is very interesting. But
I don't know too much about that. I know that they were doing some releasings. I know that there's something that happened in California, like, recently.
There's actually been a bunch, like, there's the pill-shaped, like, UFO.
The pill has been talked about on, like,
for quite a
Rogan
while. Yeah. But
wherever that one guy who's attached to the pill.
One of the most recent COVID stimulus bills during Trump also released a whole bunch of UFO files, like just something else that was fucking.
I know that there was something
there.
tied to Trump, I guess, was a bunch of alien files or something, and then I thought it panned out to not really be all that weighty.
Well, here's the thing: they've released a bunch of files, and most people haven't gone through them yet.
Well, they went through Hillary emails really fast.
Well, because
you'd
there's
think
only
they'd
so many
start going through these
there's
files
still when
in
they
exactly
release files
the same volume.
When they release files, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of shit redacted. So
that's right.
No,
there's so much of it where it's like huge black lines just all throughout the whole thing.
All I'm saying is I want aliens to be real so bad. That's why I don't immediately believe everything, because I want it so bad that I have to take a step back.
Because you could potentially believe just because you want
because
to.
I fucking want to. Same thing with Bigfoot. I want Bigfoot so bad. Klag, I want him so bad.
What is the difference if Bigfoot exists?
That's the best part about Bigfoot. Nothing.
Right?
That's the best part.
Because Sasquatch is just sort of like, this weird in-between, like, half-man, half-gorilla situation?
Well, not even half and half, just a different offshoot of evolution, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it doesn't really change anything.
No, I mean, it could potentially, like, open up, like, bullshit small science about, like, how evolution happens and how it works and how, you know what I mean? But nothing that the average everyday person would do, but it would just be exciting.
Nothing explains a giraffe very well.
What?
Nothing explains a giraffe very well.
Everything explains a giraffe. Tree got bigger.
Yeah, tree got bigger, neck got bigger.
Yeah.
Right, but only because of random selection.
Yes, correct.
Where
because
a longer
that's what
neck
happened
in that region ended up being more beneficial
than not.
Yeah.
Correct.
I get that. It's just
don't turn into the guy at work I had to argue with.
No, I'm not about to dispute.
No, I know.
Evolution in this particular state of mind.
In this particular state of mind.
Okay.
In others, though, no.
Well, yeah, maybe I would. But only for the sport of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I've already got you beat. All I have to say is dogs.
Because we made that one.
Yeah.
We made that happen.
Yeah, but I just mean
I think I've had my words about dogs on this podcast.
No, I just mean, like, if you look at a wolf, all dogs came from wolves. Most people can agree with that. Like, how do we get a Great Dane and a fucking Shih Tzu and a fucking, blah, like, you know what I mean? In, like, only
wild selection.
Like, less than 1,000 years.
Wild selection.
Well, actually, that would have been, for lack of a better term, intelligent design, because we did it on purpose. But the point is, if something can go from a wolf to a fucking Leonberger, if you've ever seen those,
I don't know what a Leonberger looks like.
Awesome.
In my brain.
They look like it's like a dog that looks like a lion. It's awesome.
Wild.
And a fucking pug.
Huge-headed dudes.
Yeah,
right?
and they got the fucking mane that's out here. But if you can get that and a fucking pug out of a wolf in like 1,000 years,
pugs are broken dog.
Yes, but I'm just saying, if you can get that out of a wolf in 1,000 years, imagine what 1,000,000 years could do. Just
So earlier when you were talking about working at
Quiznos,
you reminded me of working at Papa John's Pizza, and when the
subpar in every single way. I'm just kidding.
It is. The way they make you make a pizza is kind of curious, too, because you put the cheese on last.
Okay, this might be exposing my
Ignorance of
ignorance.
Papa John's pizza. You're
Why
supposed to
wouldn't
put
you
the
put
cheese
the
on
cheese on last?
Well, it glues everything in. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Oh, you mean
but
last
nobody else does
compared
that.
to the other toppings?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just meant
Papa John's
dough,
is
sauce,
Papa
cheese.
John's is all the. I'm pretty sure.
So you
I'm
would do
remembering
dough,
this.
sauce,
all the toppings.
pepperoni?
Yeah. No. Hold on.
What?
In that scenario, you don't.
Okay, so pepperoni is the exception.
In other pizzas, yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember that you put the cheese on after putting on toppings.
It's insane.
So like the Supreme.
I mean, I get it. It now makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah, the
But
Supreme.
but
think
it's
gets
insane. So you
cheese
put
on
the
top.
meat on first before you put the cheese over.
Yeah, I think meat may be the only exception.
That's actually probably a good delivery system because it does hold it together better, but it's a bad presentation.
I remember that I don't like Papa John's sauce.
I don't like Papa John's pizza at all. I think it's one of the worst
It's
pizzas
kind of
out
doughy,
there, and I mean it.
It's kind of doughy. Let's
My wife
talk about pizza.
My wife likes Papa John's.
Let's talk about pizza. The Papa John's pizza is mostly
Garbage.
Bread. It's bready. It's
just garbage.
The flavor is all in the dough. It's very sugary. It's very chewy.
Yes.
The sauce is weak.
Yes.
The sauce does nothing.
Okay, here.
We're talking pizzas.
What's your favorite part of the pizza? And I just mean cheese, dough, or sauce.
I really don't give a fuck about the dough. I want the least amount of dough to a pizza. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like chewy dough. I don't like squishy dough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
DiGiorno, I hate. I thought I liked it for the longest time, and I hate it.
I mean,
I liked it when I was fat.
all crap.
When I was fat, I loved DiGiorno. All
No
right?
cheese.
Something about it. Something about pizza that... Because here's the thing about DiGiorno. The way it's designed, it cooks unevenly.
Yeah.
The
All
outside...
frozen pizza does, by the way. But
Frozen
yeah.
pizza? No,
Yeah.
no. Because I'm going to tell you the perfect frozen pizza, and you're gonna disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you.
I am, but that's because the frozen pizza I like doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. So DiGiorno, the crust is too fat towards the edges, and it doesn't cook in the
Because
middle.
it's slightly
The
pretending to be
time-
Chicago-ish.
Yeah, the time that it tells you to cook it for is wrong.
Up it by 20
You're
minutes.
supposed to cook. I don't know if that's true, but you're supposed to up it for some period of time.
At least 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay,
Let's keep
so
talking pizza.
no,
fuck
we're
it.
gonna talk pizza. So, Papa John's. I mean, I worked there. I liked making my own pizza, but I always made you know what I would do is I wouldn't even make the pizza. I would just steal the chicken.
Yeah.
I would just steal the chicken because they said you could have whatever you wanted. So I would just
So you
make
just steal the
myself.
chicken.
I would just make myself those like French fry containers of chicken
Uh-huh.
instead because when you give me rules that I'm allowed to break, I'll just take the
You're
meat.
just going to break them.
I'll just take the meat and the veg
take
and
the
I'll
meat.
move on. In fact, I used to order food from the Chinese restaurant next door to that Papa John's, and what I would do is I would say, no sauce, please, because I'm anti-Chinese food sauce, because Chinese food restaurants don't like you. They actually hate you as an American.
That's true,
they're-
but I couldn't disagree more.
They don't like you.
No, I couldn't disagree more with give me more sauce. It's worse
Okay,
for
that's
me.
fine.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean.
You're allowed to like the junk.
Oh, it's bad.
You're allowed to like the junk food side
Yes,
of
it's
Chinese
bad.
food.
That's why I get it
That's
like once
perfectly
every
fine.
9 months.
But like Chinese food restaurants make a
they make food to
sugar-
kill you
they
because
make
you
a
should die.
yeah, they make like a sugar food nonsense thing that
Yeah.
you think is like.
Yeah. Do you think
the sauce,
General Tso's chicken is natural?
the sauce is nonsense?
Do you
like
think
the
it's natural?
They overload it with sauce. I mean, seriously, like, have you ever really thought
If
much
you went
about
to China and actually ordered food that was
beef
similar
and
to that, it
broccoli?
would be very different.
Beef and broccoli? What the fuck is going on there? You just got like you've got completely soaked broccoli. And then hardly any beef, and it's just a bunch of fucking sauce, and then you get shitty
Bunch of
rice.
goop. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like every single Chinese restaurant makes the
Yeah.
exact same food.
Lou's Garden in Rochester is one of the better ones
Sure.
for that. But it's
But,
still
like,
it's still shitty Chinese food,
Chinese-
but it's better.
A
you know.
Chinese food order for like sticking to a diet is
Oh,
perfect. Is
yeah.
perfect if you tell them to put no sauce on anything.
Sure.
Because it's the only place that you can order
Meat,
beef
veggie.
and fucking broccoli
Yeah.
with rice.
Yeah.
It's the only place.
You got meat, veggie, grain.
You
and
can't
there
go
you
to McDonald's and say, "Give me beef and broccoli with a side of
You
rice."
could try, but it won't work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I'm a little off track, but
I
there
think
was
you're
a
right on. Because
with-
I actually have something to bring to this.
I like fuck? What's the name of the
Dim sum?
Not dim sum. No, not Chinese pizza. Fucking Dammy's
Domino's.
Domino's.
You fucking could not remember Domino's pizza?
I couldn't remember Domino's.
I always calls it Domino's.
I didn't like. Okay, you know what? I always
Domino's is bad pizza, but it's
I
edible
always
food.
preferred Domino's because
I'm
of
gonna fuck
the
you
crust.
up because I'm gonna
Hold
say
on.
Little Caesars, but
You're
bad.
so wrong.
I know I'm wrong. It's bad, but it's $5 for 3 of them.
Pudding pizza, pudding pizza, dessert pizzas. What's going on? Pizza Hut. What's going on?
Pizza
what are you
Hut
doing?
Is insane, and it's always been bad.
Pizza Hut is garbage pizza. Domino's is pretty okay. There's something there's something about their bread.
It's still not
Their
good
bread,
pizza,
but
it's
the dough.
edible food.
The dough has space.
Yeah, it's got some air in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you bite into the crust, you go, "Oh, there's some space in here. Oh, that's good." And then you're like,
"Do you really say that?"
I do that. I say, "Oh, when you know."
Oh,
and they changed their formula or whatever to like garlic dough every single time. So the crust is covered in garlic. So now what
are you gonna do?
Yeah. Where like Papa John's, you go, my crust is all garlic sticks because I'm gonna stuff them down in that weird, because they give you that fucking that little table in the middle. They give you that little table that the pizza comes with. It's like it's too small to eat a slice off of. I don't know what's going on with that.
That table is actually so the top of the
I
box.
know what the table is for. I know what the table is for, Alex.
I only learned recently. So the box.
It's just funnier to say that it's for nothing.
I do like the little table.
I like the garlic sauce that it came with, except I don't
but
now.
The pizza itself,
because I know it's too thick.
Yeah,
you know the pizza itself. It's like, okay, look, it's all, everything about it is just like you're inhaling something. It's not. There's no stopping power to it.
Like
it's
a sugar cookie when you go.
It is like that. It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
Domino's, something about, I don't know. It's bad cold. All of it's bad
All
cold.
of it's bad
Why
cold.
do people like cold pizza? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yo,
but look,
fuck you if you like cold pizza. Die in a hole. Don't eat cold pizza. It's bad.
Pizza Hut tastes like cheap pasta sauce.
Yeah.
That's all it tastes
and grease.
Like. It's like,
because cheap pasta sauce doesn't often have
you know,
grease in it.
Did you ever have braces?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I didn't have braces, but I had a retainer.
There is a complaint by people with
bite.
braces where any tomato paste tastes way more metallic than it used to.
Yeah,
there's an odd reaction because of the acidity.
Yeah.
But tomato sauce, when concentrated, tastes very metally
on its
regardless.
Own. Correct. Yes.
And Pizza Hut's pizza tastes like metally fucking pasta
have the metal
sauce.
flake.
Yeah, please.
We should just put in one of our episodes just that. Oh, and I'll have the metal flake, the battery acid, and the Pizza Hut.
And the Pizza Hut, please. They also try and pass off pasta. What the fuck are they doing there? Cece's Pizza, Little Caesars. Oh, okay.
Little
Cece's.
Caesars.
Little Caesars. Which one's the buffet? Cece's, right?
Cece's is the
Cece's
buffet.
is the buffet.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on there? Every last one of them. Look, their pizza tastes like toys. I don't know. I don't
plastic,
know.
Yes,
it's
plastic.
well, there's it's like for some reason it feels like Tonka made fucking pizza. I don't even know how that connects to my brain, but it's
Lego pizza.
It's like, but it's like super thin. I don't know. It's just
bad.
It's throwaway nonsense. And they're like, let's put pudding on a pizza, but it's all pudding skin.
Ugh.
No, haven't you had it?
Already sick.
No,
I never went to Cece's.
Vanilla pudding pizza?
I'm not doing that to myself.
What the fuck is going on?
The only time I ever went to Pizza Hut was because they had that. Whoa. You know how fucked this is, right? Pizza Hut had the special with like Scholastic books.
Okay.
Where if you read books, you got a free personal pan pizza.
Wow. What a win.
Which, yes, if you're 8, feels that way.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that? That if you do something good and actually try to expand your mind by reading Animorphs, they say, we're going to give you your own personal deep dish, motherfucker. I was set up to fail. Is all I'm asking. Is all I'm saying. Look at this. This is Pizza Hut personal pan pizza.
Pizza is an impulse. Pizza is not a food.
I disagree,
Pizza,
but I also agree.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Pizza is an impulse.
You're wrong and you're right. It's
Nobody goes, you know what, let's plan for pizza on Thursday.
That's not
because
true.
that's what is going to be best.
That's not true.
Fine.
People do that.
Fine.
All the time.
They do. Yeah, you know what? They all have bad impulse control. All of them do.
Sure.
If you're planning for pizza, you're planning for failure. That's what's happening.
Bread, cheese, sauce.
That's what you're doing. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't
It's
make,
slightly more work than pasta.
They make pizza like a dessert. They don't make pizza like a meal.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean,
and that's why
there
it's
are
like sugary
places that
dough
do,
and all that stuff.
You know what I mean? There are places that do, but they're few and far between.
$25. All right, let's talk about just ordering a pizza. I want to get in on this, all right, because it makes me angry.
Okay.
Okay, so I got to order one. I got to order a pizza.
I mean, you could make it yourself, but yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. You just fucking took it away from me. The point is, all right, I want a pizza. What do? What's your impulse? Your impulse is, let's order one because somebody else is going to make it and they're going to bring it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, now you've got $18 to start with your fucking pizza, plus another $5 onto it for the delivery fee. And then you're supposed to tip them. So you've got delivery fee, tipping the pizza driver and the pizza initially, $30 for what is basically a fucking donut.
A $10 meal.
And it goes down
maybe
like
12.
Stuffing donuts into your face. That's what it ends up going down like.
Close, yeah.
All right? And you don't enjoy it.
But I've got broccoli on it.
You don't really enjoy it. You just stuff it
But I've
in.
got chicken and broccoli on mine.
And you're not
full.
and
ranch.
And you're not full. You're bloated. You're not full.
No. That's you talking because you're lactose intolerant.
Fine. Let me get to
this. Is all a rant about the fact that his ass, which let's not forget, he squirted soapy water up earlier, can't handle milk and cheese. That's not. This is just a diatribe
on
the fact that he's lactose intolerant
of a psychotic person. Look,
no, I mean you're basically right. I mean you're not. What do you want me to say?
So when it comes to ordering a pizza, what it turns into is, well, I don't want to pay a delivery driver. I don't want to pay a delivery driver.
I go get it.
I want to be here.
I'm not paying a
so
delivery
I'm going to
driver.
go to the pizza place and get it.
Yeah.
But at that point, then I go, well, I'm already going to get in my car. So if I'm going to get in my car, why don't you preheat the oven while I drive down to the store and buy the pizza that will be more satisfactory for only $5 No, because like what I used to do is get the giant like Walmart pizza, which I used to think was good, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not good.
Yeah, no
but it
frozen
was huge.
pizza.
No, it wasn't frozen. It was refrigerated. See, the Walmart pizza is refrigerated, and it's big.
Okay.
But it's not great, but it's not terrible. It tastes like a Subway sandwich. It's like getting it does. It tastes like getting a meatball sub because the way the bread is.
That's the best
It's something about the bread.
Yeah,
it's
I know what you mean.
Okay,
it's
chewy.
Yeah,
It's got that. It's there's some effort into having
to
eat
hard to
it.
make your own pizza.
No, it's not. Except that it is. It is effort because it takes planning.
I mean,
it means that you went to the store and you said, "I'm going to make a pizza on Thursday." See, that's the planning of pizza that I can get behind.
I mean, yes.
I bought all the ingredients to make my own pizza.
Yeah.
I can't get behind, I'm going to order a pizza on Thursday. That's what our plan is for dinner for the whole family.
The only time I do that is for La Festa, but that's it.
So here's how
But I go get it because I'm not but here's the thing, though. This is not necessarily as true today as it was a year ago. Or I should say a year and a half ago at this point. When you're ordering food to your house, you've given up. We can all agree with that. You've given up. Doesn't matter. We've gone along. You've given up. Usually, you can only get pizza or Chinese. What's better for you? I have no idea. What I will tell you, it'll be the last thing I say. My friend Rory, whose leg I threw up on it, he used to work at a supermarket. Where they would also make pizza, as you do. So we came up with the best idea in the world, General Tso's chicken pizza.
I can dig it.
And I would literally, we actually got yelled at a bar for bringing food outside. And I mean outside, we were outside on the patio and brought it up. And they yelled at us because we serve food. And I'm like, you serve warmed Hot Pockets. It doesn't count. I would go and literally say to a Chinese restaurant, give me General Tso's chicken and a bunch of sauce and nothing else. Just do that. Then I'd run to Weiss, which was the grocery store he worked at. I'd run there in my car and just fucking, while people were watching, throw it to him. He'd make a pizza, spread the sauce on. He would usually put a white sauce, like a garlic, kind of in there. And spread a little bbit of the soy sauce and some cheese and that chicken. And it looked like a disease, but it tasted so fucking good. It looked like it, because it was literally the combination of the worst shit you could have. And it was so good. And that's all I'll say about that.
Let me give you my conclusion about pizza.
Do it.
And you're going to disagree, and it's okay.
I know I'm going to disagree.
The best pizza.
Frozen pizza or the best pizza?
You can spend
There's
the money
different things.
on the best pizza.
Those are different things.
But when it comes to impulse on pizza, you're having a pizza now. Okay? You're having a pizza now.
When I have pizza, we usually make it. And so that actually literally means
you're having a pizza because you didn't plan. Because you want pizza now.
Nope.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. You want pizza now.
I always want pizza.
You don't plan.
I always want pizza now.
Pizza is a children's meal.
I know. I want it.
Tombstone pizza is the best pizza.
It's fine. It's fine.
Because it's light.
The best commercial.
It's even.
It's fine.
It's got just the right amount of bread. The sauce wins. You get just a simple pepperoni. It's
better than Tony's, I'll tell you.
You get a simple pepperoni Tombstone pizza.
Turns into little cups.
You can eat the whole thing by yourself and feel nothing for it. You can't do it all the time.
No, you can't do it all the time.
But
you can do it.
It fits in your stomach. There's not too much cheese.
Mm-hmm.
There's just the right amount of everything.
I would say that's one of the better frozen pizzas. Yes.
Yeah. And it's overlooked because it's not selling you on all a bunch of extra bullshit.
No, you're right.
Tombstone Pizza knows what it is.
I
come on a piece of cardboard. I'm wrapped in plastic. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
You can cook me in the oven on the racks, pull me out, eat me, and be happy.
Bam.
DiGiorno's like, cinnamon sticks? Buy me!
Awful.
It's like...
Awful.
It's like it's like what the fuck are we doing here? You're gonna put a bow on a sandwich. Why are you gonna do that?
We make our own dough for pizza. It takes a while. It's not immediate.
I can get behind planning for pizza. Real planning, real work.
Mm-hmm.
But if it comes to impulse,
we did whiskey, fennel sausage, and onion pizza.
I hate your pizza.
It was very good.
Your pizza can go fuck itself.
Whiskey, fennel sausage was real good.
It's a good recommendation. And with that, we're going to leave.
We went too long.
We're done.
We're never doing this again.
Probably never. Write us at Marklar's.
We fought too much. No.
Write us at marklarsmarklarmusic at gmail.com. That's marklarsmarklarmusic at gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the thing all the way to this point.
Say something.
You probably didn't, though.
Anything.
I see the averages.
Somebody say anything.
Yes, write something.
It doesn't matter if it's a question.
Or don't.
No, do.
Yes, do.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.